Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, it's a hump day. Good morning to you on the JP Peterson Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're joining us by podcast or the live stream, we appreciate you guys. We're up each and every morning, 10 to noon, right here on Facebook, on X, on YouTube, fanstreamsports.com, and you can download our app as well, FanStream Sports. We love to see you guys each and every day. It's time to talk some football. My man Peter Blake is joining me as he does each and every Wednesday from the Sports Web. What's up, Peter? How are you?
What's going on, buddy? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, and only a couple days away from Bucs versus the Commanders. I'm ready to talk football, and only, one day away from Chiefs versus the Ravens, and then you got a Friday night football game there with Philadelphia and Green Bay.
But I see we're going to Brazil for football. There's no longer X, formerly Twitter, where Brazil has outlawed X because they are a communist country and want no part of free speech. So we won't be getting live tweets from the game from all the people down there. Well, maybe, but we'll see. Interesting first week, and of course we're going to jump into Bulls in Washington. The Bucs are back at practice this morning. They'll hit the field about 11 o'clock, so we'll get some updates, hopefully on Yaya Diaby. It's really the biggest injury question, and a big one. I mean, it's obviously pass rush is going to be paramount against Jayden Daniels, one of the best runners in the history of college football, one of the best passers in the history of college football. My fantasy quarterback, by the way, I selected Jayden Daniels as my fantasy quarterback. I think he's going to have a big year. Hopefully not a big first game, but he's a supremely talented quarterback. He's got some really good receivers, starting with Terry McLaurin. This is it's an interesting football team in the Washington football team, the Commanders.
Not the Redskins.
Todd Bowles called them the Redskins. Can we call them Redskins? He's the head coach.
I mean, he played for him, right? Does he have a right to do that? I mean,
I wonder if he did that on purpose.
I think he did it on purpose. Yeah.
Whatever. We move on, and we're going to talk some college football as well. USF and Bama, one of the big games this weekend. Could be a shocking upset. Listen to Alex Golesh's press conference from yesterday. Ain't no fear in that dude, Peter. There ain't no. He's laying down the law to his kids. We want no big eyes. He's downplaying it. I like that. I think I guess it's the only way you can approach it. You don't want to go in there and say, "Oh my God, we're playing Alabama today."
Right.
Oh my God, we're going to Tuscaloosa, 100,000 people. You don't want to do that. But we'll talk some USF football. Leo Haggerty's going to join us at 10:30. He covers the USF Bulls. He was at the press conference yesterday, so we'll hit that. Corey Long will join us at 11 o'clock. He wants to throw more dirt on my Seminoles, so I said, sure, jump aboard. Why not? Everybody else is doing it. As long as your name's not Paul Feinbaum, you can come on and do it. So we'll talk to Corey Long at 11 o'clock. Not just about the Noles, but all things college football and some Bucs as well. Maybe we'll sneak in a little Lightning as well. Lightning, 34 days away?
Wow.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
It's almost already here, right? It's around October.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah, that's
I will be starting my 10th year. My 10th year with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Congratulations,
doing pregame and intermission reports and putting my big head on the Jumbotron to scare people into the high-price concessions. It's a strategy that's worked for now a decade. So we will continue to do that.
Let me give you a
entertain you people.
There you go. That'll wake you up in the morning. That'll definitely get you ready for hockey season.
Yes, baby. Love it.
That's good.
That's going to be a very interesting season for the Lightning. I mean, so many changes. I know a lot of fans are still upset about the Stamkos thing. They'll open that wound again early on as Nashville comes to town. But I'm excited to see what this hockey team looks like. And you know who we haven't heard from in a long, long time?
Who's that?
John Cooper.
We have not.
We have not heard from John Cooper vis-a-vis the Stamkos situation, the remake of this team. Very interested to hear what Coop's going to say when he comes back. So, yeah, Lightning season is right around the corner. So I got my Tampa reverse on tonight. Just little Lightning colors there.
I know. I see that. That's good, man. That's a style. That looks
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So we got lots to get to today, and you guys jump aboard in the comments section, please. You can also hit us up at the JP Peterson Show, my new X handle there. So please follow that. We have not gotten up to the 8,000 followers that I lost in my horribly unjust suspension from Twitter for whatever reason. I might get it back. Who knows?
I think you may. Hopefully you do. They should. I mean, they're not restricting free speech only in Brazil, though.
Right. Well,
so where
the Rays got their stadium, so
right.
You got the stadium. So can you call your friends at Twitter and have them unblock? Wherever you called, could you uncall them then, please? You got your billions.
Right.
Be happy. All right, so let's get into it right away as the Bucs start preparations for the Washington Commanders. Boy, that sounds stupid, and I just wish they would listen to the Native American tribes that said, no, we liked being glorified by the Redskins. A lot of them say that. So maybe do like the Seminoles, pick a tribe and celebrate a tribe. Redskins sounds a little pejorative. I get that. No question about it. But the people that matter don't seem to care about it much. And a lot of them would love to be celebrated like the Seminoles are celebrated. I think that's pretty cool. See how I worked in FSU in a positive way?
Oh yeah, I see.
By the way, Peter, if you want to have your time, I mean, I'm sure you guys have talked about it on your show, and have some thoughts on it. We can bury that right away. By the way, if Mike Norvell doesn't come out today and say Brock Glenn is the starting quarterback, I'll be very disappointed.
Well, can we just stop saying, well, this is what you get. This is the reason why they weren't in the playoff yet last year.
Nothing to do with it.
It's not the same team. Okay.
Ridiculous. Anybody just says that knows nothing about football.
Right. Exactly.
You're just a hack.
Is this on coaching? I definitely think you could say it's coaching because you panic in that situation when it's 4th and 5, and then your quarterback shows you the reason why he's on his third program and the last 3 years because he throws off his back foot. Looked like a Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback. Deer lost in the headlights there with that throw. Typical throw. You go for it on that point. You're 3 for 12 beyond 5 yards in the first quarter, in the first half. It's just ridiculous. And then on top of it, the worst part about it is, and I get it, you lose Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk on that line, but you're not able to stop anybody. You're getting ran over. Your lines are soft as Charmin. We all know about it. It comes down to interior lines when offensive line and defensive line. You can't protect your quarterback, and then on top of it, you can't stop anybody. So all in all, it was a pretty awful night, and I wish I would have did a show on Labor Day to save the people the embarrassment of being a Florida State fan and watching that debacle.
Yeah, it's embarrassment. Look, it is what it is. You live by the portal, you die by the portal, and the first 2 years, Norvell nailed it. This year, he did not. The guys that he got they're not leaders. I was reading a blog from some folks that go to the Paul Sickman from Knox Media. Does a great blog on Florida State every game. And he sits right behind the Seminoles bench. And he was making observations that, during this game where you're getting embarrassed as a football team, there was no emotion on the side. There were no players, pissed off, flipping tables. There were some receivers that were staring at the Jumbotron during the break, laughing at the dance contest. That's unacceptable. And there seems to be a real lack of leadership on this team. Like who was getting pissed off? Who was telling everybody getting the troops together and saying let's show a little backbone here. Didn't see a lot of that, and I think that's very, very telling. DJ Uiagalelei is not a leader. His sideline demeanor is borderline comatose, and his energy when he plays is borderline comatose. I could not dislike that quarterback anymore. He doesn't look like he's grown at all since his first year at Clemson. And it's interesting. Somebody posted an old recruiting ranking from California 5 years ago. And it's like number 1, Bryce Young, number 2, DJ Uiagalelei, and number 3 was CJ Stroud. It's like, which one of these players does not belong? And it's kind of alarming that Mike Norvell would choose a guy who clearly, and there's a lot of tape on, and he's just not that good. He's just not that good. Instead of, letting his 2 recruits that he went out and got, and one of them in Brock Glenn that they got from Ohio, they beat out Ohio State to get him, and Luke Kromenhoek, who's supposedly supposed to be really, really good as well. Let them fight it out and rebuild your team. And I think when you go 13-0 and you kind of want to keep that momentum going, I think maybe he panicked a little bit and went out and got a quote experienced quarterback. And yeah, it's only good when it's good experience. It's not good. So, but let's move on to the Buccaneers and the Commanders. And I think for the Bucs, obviously, I mean, every game, doesn't it feel like every game in the NFL is huge? Like it's even though there's 17 of them, every game is huge. And when you look at the Bucs schedule, there, you go wins and losses, right? You're like wins, loss, whatever. This is one, a team that was 4-13 last year that's starting a rookie quarterback. You got to get. There's no two ways about it. New coach in Dan Quinn, new offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury. They brought in some pieces for Jayden Daniels. But all in all, this is a game you got to go get. You got to force your will on this team on your home field, and you got to go get it. Losing a game like this would really, really set you back in terms of your team culture, your optimism, everything. It's not the end of the world if you lose a game in week 1, especially because wacky things happen in week 1. But, this is a team that is experienced in a lot of different ways. You should go out there and take care of business. The Bucs are a 3.5-point favorite in this one. I like the Bucs to cover that. And I like, and I listen, Jayden Daniels is going to make plays. He's too good of a player. He's got great instincts. He's very, very accurate with the football. Their offensive line is, I don't think, a strength of this team. So I would like to see the Bucs get after him, but you can't let him out. You can get, you try to over pursue him. We've seen that. You can't let him out of the pocket because he will burn you. His speed is electric, and just a little bit of a gap, he's down the field 8-10 yards in a heartbeat. And that, and that's demoralizing as a defense. You can do everything right defensively, and he just slips out and can burn you for 10, 20, 30 yards in a heartbeat. And those are big plays in a game, and you got to limit that as best you can. And Yaya Diaby is going to be huge in that regard. He is your most athletic pass rusher. He's your fastest guy. He's got to, he is a guy that will be chasing him down, hopefully from the backside as he's rolling out or trying to escape pressure. And you got to have that athleticism. I don't know if he's going to play or how good he can play. And nobody's going to know that until Sunday, to be quite honest. We'll get the reports as the week goes on. But high ankle sprains are weird injuries, and you can re-injure them in a heartbeat. And the way he plays, it's about, he's a fast twitch guy. He's built on top in a big way. He's a humongous human being, 270 pounds. There's going to be a lot of pressure on those ankle ligaments. And hopefully they are fully restored and he can play at 100%, because the Bucs, if they're going to have a special season, need a special season from Yaya Diaby. And it starts right there with the pass rush and containing Jayden Daniels. For my money, Yaya, Chris Braswell, who had a great game against Miami, showed some flashes of being a really, really good player. I'm going to be watching him, and he's another athletic guy that needs to, be very disciplined in their rush lanes to make sure Jayden Daniels doesn't get out and get loose. So to me, for the Buccaneers defensively, that is job one. Contain Jayden Daniels as a runner. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think you definitely have to. And, talking to Brian Kelly at the ReliQuest Bowl just a couple months ago, he said it best, how this guy is going to command the locker room. This guy is going to command the building. He's going to walk into that building. So he's not going to be afraid of the limelight. First and foremost, you also don't have film on him. So you're not sure what to expect. You have the college stuff, but you're not sure what they're going to do with them. But you're exactly right. The Bucs should absolutely win this game versus a rookie coach and Dan Quinn. I get it. He's coached before, but this is a new system here. They don't have the weapons. They do have McLaren, but what else do they have? And then I think the biggest challenge offensively for the Bucs is put your money where your mouth is. That offensive line, you just improved it with Graham Barton. That matchup with Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen in the middle will be huge. Let's see what that interior line can do. It's not just about trying to throw the ball, but also once again be balanced in that running attack. Let's see if they can run the ball for over 100 yards versus a very challenging defense in Allen and Payne.
Yeah, that's where I would go offensively, for the Buccaneers is, yes, establish the run game. And that's obviously what we've been talking about in this offseason. And you hopefully improve dramatically in your interior line. And yes, they will be tested. If there's one strength of this this Commanders team, this Washington team,
I knew it's going to do it.
It's their interior defensive line, and that's where. So I would look for the Bucs to try to run the ball outside and take advantage of Bucky Irving's speed, Rashad White's ability to get outside. I think that's where they're going to go. I mean, trying to run up the middle on those two guys would be futile. I don't think that's a great idea. Why would you attack the strength of their defense? So I'd like to see them get the perimeter run game going. I think Liam Cohen will have a good plan for that. And I'm interested to see the distribution in terms of the passing game. I mean, there's a lot of mouths to feed on this Tampa Bay Bucs football team. And you saw in preseason, the two guys that were getting a lot of look in the 11-on-11 were Cade Otton and Jalen McMillan. Mm-hmm. Now, those weren't necessarily two guys that were getting all the targets. And I'm not here to say that, suddenly Jalen McMillan's going to get 8 to 10 targets and Mike Evans is going to get 3. That would be foolish. But it's also important to note that, Mike and Chris are going to get all the attention. And if the defense is going to give you Jalen McMillan and they're going to give you Cade Otton, well, then take advantage of it, because both of those guys are extremely capable. I think Cade Otton's going to have a great year. I think his target share will definitely go up. And I think Jalen McMillan will be going up against number 3 corners a lot in nickel corners. And good luck. Good luck trying to cover that kid the way he runs routes. So I'm just very interested to see, because you think that there's a lot of continuity on this team in terms of personnel. There's a lot of continuity. Obviously, they brought a lot of back, but there's also, especially in the offensive room, there's a lot of new. This offense is new. I think the running game is going to be much different. Obviously, their base alignment and 3 receivers is going to be much different, and I'm here for it. I'm excited to see what Baker Mayfield can bake with this Liam Cohen offense. And listen, I don't want to be, I'm a little gun shy after my Florida State experience from the last 2 weeks, because I thought that they would have, I wasn't picking them to go 13-0. I thought they would have 2 losses in the regular season but be a good football team. They may not have 2 wins. So I'm a little burned by my first prediction of that team. But we had very little to go on, in terms of FSU. So many new players. That's not the case with the Buccaneers. They've got a lot of continuity. We know what these guys can do. I will be shocked if they go out and lay an egg in week 1. There's too much at stake. There's too much continuity. There's too many professionals here. Even though they've got the second youngest roster, the key guys are veterans. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield, Rashad White, Tristan Wirfs. There's guys that have played a lot of football here in the key positions. So Antoine Winfield Jr., Jamel Dean, Levante David, even, KJ Britt's been around for a while, Vita Vea. These are guys that we know what they can do. And it shouldn't be, a situation where you're going out there and it's going to be an uncharacteristic type performance. I know what these guys can do. I expect them to play well, and I think they're going to handle Washington. And I won't say fairly easily, because there are no easy games in the NFL. But I think I picked the Bucs to win by at least 7 points. I think it should be a 2-score game.
Yeah, it should be. And you kind of wonder what they can do with that new offense. You kind of wonder, did they get enough reps in those game time situations in preseason? You kind of wonder across the NFL, is there going to be some cause and effect because so many teams are not playing their number 1 starters at the end of the day? But you're exactly right. I would test the running game. I would go against their strength. As crazy as it sounds, I want to see what Graham Barton and what kind of upgrade they're going to make. I want to see the physicality of Cody there at the right guard situation and Ben Bredesen. I want to see this offensive line go at it. And then once you go at that strength, then you start to go play action down the field to McMillan, to Otton in those seams down the middle of the field. That's what I would do. and we'll see what they do at the end of the day. But you're exactly right. This is a challenge for the defense also. It comes down to Yaya Diaby. If he's not 100%, do you risk it? Do you play him? Also, the other guy I want to see is JTS, because the Bucs as an organization have told you we're good at where we're good with our younger guys and the Ramirez and a Marquise Watson, especially JTS. When is JTS going to stand up? When is he going to be the number one, the first round pick? When is he going to live up to those expectations of finishing? Is it this year? It better be this year, because he's a free agent, and he'll have an opportunity to either earn another contract with the Bucs or another team in the National Football League.
Peter, I hear Todd Bowles talking about JTS all the time.
Yeah,
and I just go, what?
Right.
4 years, we've seen nothing. Nothing.
Right.
It's been. It's not. Where suddenly is he going to become this great pass rusher? Is he going to suddenly become a great against the run? He's been a whole lot of meh.
Yeah.
And if it's a contract year that needs to wake your ass up, okay, whatever. But I don't expect anything from him. Why do you think they drafted Braswell? Why don't you? I know I hear Todd. Maybe that's Todd, hyping him up and trying to get him going.
Sure.
But it feels like a whole lot of Devin White. It feels like a whole lot of them. Which, by the way, interesting note here in our comments.
I knew you were going to get to this. Yes.
Did you guys see that Devin White got injured and won't be traveling with the Eagles to Brazil? But apparently he did not beat out Nakobe Dean in camp. So White couldn't get the starting linebacker job. Oh, well. You think that has something to do with his ankle injury? Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. Ha!
Who's more hurt, him or Carlton Davis? Anybody heard from Carlton Davis? What's the injury report on him? Is he playing?
I don't know.
Because he's always injured too. Both of these guys. I love it, because here's at the end of the day, all this hype about White and how he's changed and how this and that. He's the same type of player until further notice, until he starts to make tackles and want to be there. But he's got a 1-year contract. If he doesn't perform for the Eagles, he'll be gone. He'll most likely be gone out of the league. So
if he got beat out by Nakobe Dean, which evidently he did, he's gonna whine and complain and say it's his ankle and say it's this and that. He ain't gonna get up and fight for his job.
Yeah,
that's just hilarious. And people talking about the offseason acquisition of Devin White. Always.
Here's what I think about Devin White acquisition. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Kenneth McCleary, good morning to you, my friend. Said podcast. Well, since there's nothing left of the FSU season, how about go Bulls? Yeah, how about go Bulls? Absolutely. Yeah. And they got a big game coming up with Alabama, 7:00 Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. We'll be talking to Leo Haggerty here in just a little bit. Did you say you had some goalish sound that we could throw out there?
I do, absolutely. And this is in care of Amped Up Sports. This is the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, interviewing Coach Alex Golesh yesterday, asking him some questions about the Alabama game here on the JP Peterson Show. Enjoy.
Week, third down is going to be imperative. Not saying it's not imperative every week, but your offense has to stay on the field and your defense has to get off, because they're just going to get worn down on defense and your offense is going to get frustrated. How important is it third down this week?
Really important every week. You answered your own question.
Coach, you didn't get a chance to play against Milton last year. Film is one thing, but seeing on the field is another. How much of a disadvantage is that? Not knowing how good this guy is.
No, I think you got a pretty good idea. You got a bunch of film. You got a playoff run, SEC championship game, playoff run. You got last week. So you get to see it exactly what it is. That's what we prepped for a year ago as well. But really, really special talent. Really smart football player, gets him in the right plays. Physically, really impressive, both as a thrower, as a runner as well. Like really, really good football player. Older veteran, has been through it. An offensive change, which I think suits really well for him. They're so multiple in what they do. I think, very similar to what you were watching with Penix at Washington, a guy that has got a really live arm, really accurate, and then can create with his legs. So, but you got so much film on Jayden that I don't know if it's any harder or would have been easier if we played him last year. Super talented, though. Really fun player to watch.
All right, so there you go. And he's talking about Michael Penix, the comparison there with Jalen Milroe, who, of course, didn't play in the game last year with Nick Saban teaching him a lesson and playing the third string, being down to your third string quarterback. And we know that USF was in that game, and you just have to make some plays because the defense stood up, but the offense wasn't able to make those plays down the field with Byron Brown. So can they get over that now? Milroe is playing in this game. He played a lot better after that game. And even Coach Golis said how much of a challenge it's going to be with comparing him to Michael Penix. If he's anything like Michael Penix, that's
he's not the passer that Michael Penix was, and certainly in college. So Kalen DeBoer, who came over obviously from Washington as the new Alabama head coach, he's going to have to adjust his offense a little bit, but Milroe's a much better runner than Penix. And Penix was a pretty good runner, but not like Jalen Milroe. He's a freaking tank. He is a tank. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jalen Schuler, their leading tackler, USF's leading tackler, got injured in the Bethune-Cookman game in the 48-3 win over Bethune-Cookman, and Correct. He will not play. That's a blow. But Golis, I watched the whole press conference from yesterday, and he was asked about the guys being wide-eyed, and he's like, nah, nobody should be, big eyes. We play in the, Super Bowl stadium. We played in front of big crowds. He goes, we shouldn't be big-eyed at all. And then he went on to say that when we're at our best, USF, we can play with anybody. Yeah. I mean, that's a strong statement. It's a very, very strong statement. And, he has not backed away at all. I mean, the Ginger Man has swagger. He has some swagger about him, and the players love it. But when swagger meets reality, sometimes it can get ugly. And there is no tougher test in college football than going to Tuscaloosa and playing an Alabama team that clearly, after week one, just shellacking a Western Kentucky team 63-0. Western Kentucky's won a lot of football games, obviously not at that level. But Western Kentucky pretty much on USF's level for many, many years. Now, obviously, USF is hopefully taking a step up, but if they do that to Western Kentucky, they're a great football team, and they've recruited in the top 3 for the last 10 years in a row. This team is loaded with talent. They've got an experienced quarterback coming back. It's a team that was in the playoff, and you're playing in front of 100,000 people. It just doesn't get any tougher than this. So we'll see what South Florida is made of. And I think, listen, if they get blown out, I'm not going to be, discouraged, and hopefully not. The USF fans should not be discouraged. I know they had a great season last year, but there's no real signature win from last year over a great program. You beat some teams in your conference, and you had a winning season. That's a huge step up for USF.
Sure.
But this is a totally different level. And I know they went toe-to-toe with Alabama last year, and that should give them confidence. No question about it. But I would suggest this is going to be a different animal that they face on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. And, if they can keep it, I think the spread's 31, 32 points. If they can keep it within 3 touchdowns, I think that's a hell of an effort. And look, there's but a lot of people talking about USF as the second best team in the state. Hey, that's up for grabs right now. Miami clearly, I think, is the class. UCF had a nice opener, but USF has a chance to go out there and prove it. If they can stay in this game until the 3rd or 4th quarter, I think that's a hell of an accomplishment by USF. And we'll see. And it's going to be a great litmus test for them to go up against this Alabama team. And it's as Golis said yesterday, extremely talented, very well coached. I mean, Kalen DeBoer is a really, really good football coach. And we saw in week one that there's probably not going to be a whole lot of drop off. Now, again, it's Western Kentucky, but they're loaded. Alabama is loaded. Don't get it twisted. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, Leo Haggerty will join us, and we'll go over what USF has to do to stay with the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Our good friend Scott Jeeves, big Gator fan, and brings us the Gator Report each and every week. Not happy with the opening game against Miami. No Gator fans are, but lots of season left. So pay attention to the Gator Report each and every week here on the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. They are a tremendous, aggressive law firm. So if you've been in an accident, let Scott Jeeves represent you. Trust me, he's extremely aggressive, and they're local, so keep it local. The Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back in 3 with Leo Haggerty. Stay with us. Celebrate August with the dazzling green hue of peridot, known for its vibrant and refreshing sparkle. Yes, that's the birthstone of August at the Gold and Diamond Source. Explore the Gold and Diamond Source's stunning collection of peridot jewelry, showcasing the gemstone's unique glow and versatility in rings, necklaces, and earrings. Peridot's distinctive color makes it a standout choice for any occasion, adding a touch of elegance and charm to your ensemble. Enjoy 15% off when you shop August Gems online only. Stop by the Golden Diamond Source to experience the allure of August Gem and let their expert staff help you find the perfect peridot piece. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmsted Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez in Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Looking for a personal concierge medical service? Well, that's what Bay Area Modern Medical Center is. Get a personal doctor that will actually take some time and direct your physical and health care, not somebody that's going to look at you for about 10 minutes and send you on your way for insurance reasons. That's not how they do it at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. So combine your insurance with some concierge medicine at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo will do it for you, what he's done for so many of me, of my friends and myself, and that's spend lots of time with you and direct your physical care. I've never felt better in my life. Testosterone levels are great. The weight's a little up after the Ireland trip, but quickly coming down.
Of course,
didn't get sick on the airplane, so I'm feeling good. You can't do a Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. You're going to make an appointment right through the website. All right, let's bring in our good friend Leo Haggerty from Amped Up Sports, who's been covering South Florida for us and will all year long. Is there anything better than fight songs, like college fight songs, Leo? I mean, that's just reeks of college football. I love it.
Only if you win, because I'll tell you what, when you're 0-2 and you're going,
Hold on.
Oh, turn it off.
And then,
I guess when you got players who don't respond to the tomahawk chop, you need new players.
Yes.
And you know what, JP, real quick, Mike Norvell's really in a bad spot, because here's your problem.
Oh,
when you bring in a whole bunch of play-for-play players who are mercenaries and you're 0-2 out of the gate, you better be 2-2 after 4 games, because if you're 1-3 or 0-4, those guys are just going to say sayonara. We're going,
they
we're
already have.
They already. That's a problem.
Here's the deal.
Guys leaving, and not good.
You lived through the portal. He's had 2 great years in the portal. He nailed all their portal guys, did a great job. They won 10 games and went 13-0 last year. That's not going to happen every year, folks. FSU is not back to that level where they're, 14 years in a row, they're going to be in the top 5. They're not recruiting high school players at that level consistently, and that's where Norvell has got to improve. But in the meantime, if he's a smart guy, and I know he is, he's going to look at the tape and say, yeah, the guys we picked are not the right guys, and we're going to play our high school guys that we recruited and sit the other guys down. That's going to do 2 things. First, it's going to get guys on the field that actually want to play and will play hard. And second of all, it'll light a fire under these other guys and realize that their NFL futures are evaporating as we speak, because they're not playing. And that's a strong message to send to those guys. That's how you motivate mercenaries, with more money, and that's their NFL futures. So, I think it's not going to be obviously a great season for FSU. They're not a good football team, but Mike Norvell's got to figure out a way to win some games. And it starts with Memphis next week. They get the week off, and he better go to a new quarterback, because the DJU is freaking awful.
Well, he JP has to go to a new quarterback, a new system. Yeah. They're trying to run a mobile offense with an immobile quarterback.
That ain't work. That ain't concrete shoes. DJU ain't working. No question. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk some USF, my friend. And this is a huge game, that can be a program maker if you can find some way to win it. I'm not sitting here saying that USF has a chance to win this game. They're 31-point underdogs for a reason. This is a different Alabama team they're going to face. I'm not trying to be a killjoy here, but let's just be, and I know Coach Golish says we can play with anybody when we're playing at our best. I might pump the brakes a little bit right now. What do you think, Leo?
JP, I got to agree with them. If they're playing their best, and the key is, if 17 goes in there and has a gosh darn game against Alabama, remember, this defense held Alabama to 17 points. Now, if you're an Alabama fan, you're saying, yeah, but guess what? The quarterback was on the bench the whole game, Milroe. And I think the big thing that has to happen is they can't get boat raced in the first quarter. That game has to get to the second quarter with USF either up a touchdown or down a touchdown. If it's 21-0 Alabama, hey, look out. The doors are getting blown off. But I think you're going to see a different USF team. They're bigger. They're stronger. More importantly, they're smarter. They got to know what they can do. What scares me the most, and Peter, you and I and JP know this. Yeah. I'm going to go back to when the Bucs played the Kansas City Chiefs during the regular season when they won the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, Tyreek Hill comes in and has a first half that is off the chart. And I asked all the defensive backs for the Bucs, did you think he was that fast on film? They said, no, we didn't. Yeah. This is what's scary. They didn't get a chance to see Milroe up close and personal. They're going to have to be a quick study in that first quarter because you cannot equate how fast and good someone is on film. You can tell if they're good. You can't tell how good or how fast.
Leo, Coach Golis yesterday talked about comparisons, comparing Milroe to Michael Penix. Is that what you see when you see Milroe on tape? JP even mentioned it. He believes that Milroe is actually a better scrambler, more mobile than Penix. Is that what you also?
Absolutely. Michael Penix wasn't the scrambler. He scrambled when he had to, and his was more of a right and left scramble to try to extend the play. Milroe will tuck that puppy down, and he's gone. Yeah. And he'll go. And what scares defensive coordinators, guys, and your listeners, please take note of this. Defenses do not have enough players to account for the quarterback.
Right.
That's Canadian football. You need 12. And when you take someone and make him a spy for whatever reason, you're taking away either a rush guy or a cover guy. That doesn't work in the spread offense right now. And what I liked what USF did, again, this was Bethune-Cookman. They played a lot of single free, high free safety. They played press coverage on all the receivers and backed that free safety up about 15, 18 yards and said, nothing's getting behind me. Because what they're going to see with Alabama is a really vertical passing game. They're going down the field, and they're going down the field often.
Yeah, they got speed at receiver, and they'll test you in any. If you go single high, they'll send those guys. They could do the four
fly, JP.
Yeah, exactly.
Fly right down the field.
And you got to have some great corners, and he'll get protection too. It takes protection to do that, and they've got a really good offensive line. It just, to me, the unknown about Alabama. Everybody knows they have talent. Everybody knows Jalen Milroe is a superb talent. What we don't know is how well are they coached. How good is Kalen DeBoer? He's not coached at this type of level. I'm talking about Alabama. And Washington in the Pac-12 is one thing. They made it to the playoff, get all that, won a playoff game. But this is a different deal. And, week one was tremendous. I mean, and Western Kentucky is not a bad football program. They're not like Western Carolina. That's a program that's been on par with USF for many, many years, Western Kentucky. Yeah. So you do the comparison, you're like, wow, this, Kalen DeBoer's debut was a good one. And I think he wanted to make a statement. I don't think he wanted to, win the game, 48-7. I think he wanted to win it 63-0. And that's what they did. What are your thoughts on Kalen DeBoer as a coach and winning a game like this that's a little step up in class since week one?
Well, you know what, JP? He wants to cook a 60 burger on USF. Absolutely. Yep. He wants to send a message to the SEC that, Nick ain't on the sideline, but we're not hurting.
Exactly.
And USF, the crazy thing, guys, is that Alabama's got to look at this film and say, you know what? We just want to run it down South Florida's throat.
Yep.
We want to ram it between the tackles and wear those guys out. Henceforth, they may not score more than 35, 40, or 45. But South Florida has got to, and I asked Coach Golis this yesterday, and he kind of said, I said, third down is going to be huge. It's huge every week. I said, I get that. But with Alabama, you can't give them extra downs. You can't give them extra series, and you got to get your defense off the field. They've got to score and I'm going to ask Coach Gordon this today. I said, you better get 30 points because your defense, if they can hold them in the 20s, that's phenomenal. But it's probably going to be in the 30s or 40s. So you're going to have to score points.
With USF and their propensity, Leo word, of starting out slow during games, if you come to a fourth down situation, you're on the road. Do you go for it at that point? Do you pull out all stops? Do you do what you do, or do you have some trick plays up your sleeve here to get off to that good start and to put it all out there to beat a team like Alabama? How do you feel about that, Leo?
Oh, Grasshopper, that's a great question. You came to me with the question I asked Golish after the first series against Bethune-Cookman. He had fourth and about that much.
Yep.
On his own 25-yard line. No, 29 and three-quarter-yard line. I asked him, did you contemplate that? He said, oh, yeah, I contemplated. He didn't want to put his defense in that situation. Peter, I think it's going to depend on time of game and score of game. Okay. I don't think he's going to I think he's going to look at punting as an offensive play. Let's kick it down the field. Let's get our defense. Now, if they're down 10 or 14, he may get a little bit more rambunctious and try for something. But I don't think he's going to pull at what Florida State did, try for a 4th and 5. It better be a 4th and a short 1.
Yeah. Worst decision I've seen a coach make since Todd Bowles didn't call timeout at the end of the Lions game. All right, Jaylen Schuler, USF linebacker, will not play this week. Leading tackler against the team that, as you mentioned, is going to run it down your throat. How big of a loss is this for USF?
That's a huge loss. And again, the good news was, and Peter and I, JP, we sat there and we thought this kid's done for the season. Just the way it happened, because he had a leg in the ground, he was turning, and then he took one right on. And coach said he's looking at 2 weeks. Might be back for the Miami game. I think that's a stretch. But yeah, you just don't throw a guy who has over 100 tackles out and say, okay, next man up. Yeah, well, next man up, but you're going to drop off a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that and especially in a game like this where you need depth at that position, because it's going to be, it's still going to be hot, even though it's 7:00 at night. It's still going to be hot, and it's going to be a lot of taking on 330-pound guards, shedding them, and trying to find a ball carrier that runs a 4.3. And you need experienced guys to handle that stuff, and that's where I think it's really going to hurt them. Any other health issues for USF this week?
Not that we are aware of. They had a couple guys go down with minor hurts, bumps and bruises, but Schuler's the only one who's been ruled out. But JP, I'll tell you what was impressive: 36,000 at the opener.
Yeah,
it was a good crowd. And again, when you look at what they're trying to do, and Coach Golish is just preaching process.
Yep.
And I asked Naquan Wright yesterday. I said, remember, he basically just steamrollered that Alabama defensive back. I said, you're going to have a target on your shirt. They're coming at you. He goes, hey, bring it on.
Bring it on. Do you sense the team is as confident as their coach?
I don't know. Let's put it this way. I don't think they're afraid.
Right.
I think after last year, when Alabama came in, they held that team to 17. They only got 3. But and again, you look at Byron Brown. He's 25 pounds heavier. This kid, that boy is now a man physically. Yeah. And if he can come back and hit his spot, and Peter and I saw, JP, you thought they played fast last year? Wait till you see this year. They're running plays 3, 4, 5 seconds faster than they did last year.
Damn. Well, if you're not, as you mentioned on third down, if you're not getting first downs, those 3 and outs happen quick.
Yeah, that's why it's so important that they get off the field. And you know what, JP? Peter, we started the show 1 minute after the horn went off. Peter, tell them how many people were on at 11:15 Saturday night.
0 people were on at the end of the game. We had you covered there on Amped Up Sports on the Sports Web. Yours truly, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy and the Red Corner, live from Raymond James Stadium press box there. So we had it all covered up. We were ready to go, and we had Leo with the analysis there down in the locker room. And we got you covered on Amped Up Sports and, of course, the Sports Web. after USF games. So, and we'll got you covered on Saturday night, covering Alabama versus USF. Hopefully,
are you going to the game, Leo?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna
Okay.
stick around because I got the Bucs game the next day. You know, it's
Yeah.
hard getting back. But JP, you taking the points or not?
For the USF game?
Yeah.
31's a lot. 31's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Listen, the number one thing I'm hoping from this game is that Byron Brown stays healthy, because it's a long season ahead. It's a very promising season, and this is a very physical football team that they're playing, obviously, in Alabama. So keep him upright. I hope he doesn't run too much. I know he'll want to because he's super competitive. So I just hope 31 points is a lot. But clearly, Kalen DeBoer is out to show something. So typically a game like this, I'm staying away. But if I had to make a call, I'd take USF in the 31 because I think they can score. I think they could score at least 21 points, and that puts a lot of burden on Alabama to score a hell of a lot of points. So,
and you know what, JP, I agree with you. USF has to come out of this and not look like it's 1776 with the guy with the flute and the one leg limping off. They can't come out of that like that.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got to
That's
come
my
out,
worry.
and they can't get boat raced. If this thing's 50-3, back to square one.
Get Byram out of the game. If it gets to like 35-0, get him out of the game. Get him out of the game. Save him. Your whole season is at stake. You got a lot of big games. Just take the L and move on. And that's the thing. And I'm a little worried about that because Golish is a competitive SOB. And I think he thinks, down 35-0, they can still put some points on the board and wants to make it look respectable. And I get all that. It's his program, and he wants to show some stuff. I get it. But you got to lose the battle, win the war,
And you know what, JP, if that's a conference game, keep them in. But you know what? With the way the playoff system is set up,
exactly,
it's all about conference games now, baby.
When you really think about it, Leo, it's meaningless. It's not meaningless because you play well against Alabama, it could be a program maker. But if it gets to a point where, like it was with Western Kentucky, save yourself.
Yeah, it's not a precipice game. How's that, Peter? New word?
I like that a lot. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to get out to USF.
Go, Leo. Go do your thing, man. Go get.
Take care, guys. Talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, good stuff. Leo Haggerty there covering USF. I got to get to a couple of our commenters here.
I also sent you something, by the way.
Oh yeah, I want to get to those too. But while we're on the USF thing. Mm-hmm. USF has a great year, like maybe AC champs and Knowles go 3-9. Could USF get a bid into a better conference and the Knowles getting nothing? James.
Come on.
Dude, prisoner of the moment. My God. You don't let teams in conferences based on one football season. Don't forget FSU went 13-0 and should have been in the playoff last year. All right. So let's not go crazy. 1 year does not a program make. And this, this AAU thing, people are losing their minds over. USF's got AAU. FSU. I mean, FSU has $100 million media rights annual valuation. USF's is probably about 20, if that. That's the number that matters the most. And when you're talking about getting into a conference, this is a football conference it's an athletic conference, basically. It's not a academic conference. Okay. When you're talking about big money, let's not be silly. All right. Is USF worthy of being in the Big Ten? Not yet. Not yet. It's not. Is FSU? Absolutely. Absolutely. They've got a 40-year track record of excellence in football. There have been some blips like every program, including Michigan, by the way, including Ohio State. So, if you're not named Alabama during the Saban era or Bobby Bowden, FSU, you don't go more than 7-8 years of excellence. It's tough to do. It's really tough to do, especially now in the transfer portal and in the NIL era. So, no, it's the media rights that are important. FSU had over 5 million people watch their game in week 0. Okay, I haven't seen the numbers from the other night, but it was probably another $4 million as well. That makes money. That sells advertising. That's why FSU is coveted by the Big Ten and the Florida market. So, no, that's not USF. That's a good wins the AAC. They're suddenly a Big Ten program. This is why I don't want to be. I'm not trying to be a USF basher, and I'm not. I'm very pro Bulls, and but there's a lot of people on the bandwagon here that need to pump the brakes. Okay, it's and that might happen on Saturday. I hope they show well, but the chances are the odds makers are right that this could be a tough day for USF, and it should be. You're year 2 of Alex Golish. You have not recruited at the level that Alabama recruits. You're not even close. If you stay within 25 points, it's a W for the program.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, you cover the spread. It's a hell of a job. But, thinking that you're going to go up there and win and I hope it happens. But I'd say be careful with the expectations. Let's just put it that way.
Makes sense. It definitely makes lots of sense at the end of the day.
I got to take Michael Stover to the woodshed.
Uh-oh. Big time Gator fan right there. I mean, what was worse? Was it worse watching FSU the last 2 weeks or the game against the Miami Hurricane?
I don't know what's up with your mic there, but it's kind of crackling on us.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Listen, I'm not here to defend Billy Napier. That was not a good showing in week 1, but Miami's a hell of a football team. The Gators made a couple of really, really undisciplined plays in those, and it cost them 14 points. I'm not saying they were winning the game, but it could have been a lot closer. Napier has recruited well, which is the reason you fired Dan Mullen. Okay. He hasn't shown to be a good game coach. I get it, but firing him this point of the season is futile. It's futile. It's not going to make your team better. You're not bringing what you would going to go get Urban Meyer and bring him in mid-season. And by the way, if you hire Urban Meyer, I'm sorry. I do not see. This is not 2008. Okay, it's no. But have at it. I mean, would you rather have Urban Meyer than Billy Napier? I think the answer to that is yes. But I think if you're trying to build a program, Urban Meyer is not the answer. And I know he's been sniffing around Gainesville and talking to all the right people. And I don't even know if Scott Strickland's going to survive this, their athletic director. He probably should not. They need major change in university in terms of they need a new president to clean up Ben Sass's mess. They need a new athletic director. Scott Strickland is not. He's not distinguished himself in my mind with these hires. So I think you probably need to go in another direction in a lot of different ways. I think that's fair. What else do I want to get to? I would agree with this. Norville has recruited decent in high school, especially last year. Lots of young talent that have bright futures. I would agree. It's gotten a lot better. It's not where it needs to be in terms of elite, but I would definitely play the younger players. At this point, what do you got to lose? I mean, it's awful. Christopher Cole says national media picking Atlanta is seeing names and not play. I agree. I think when Albert Breer, I think, wrote this the other day, is that everybody that's picking the Falcons, they're overlooking what the Bucs have done and who they still have. And I think, and Liam Cohen's offense too.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Got the mute button on right in time.
Yeah, you did. You did get it right on. And I don't know if you hold on a sec here. It's loose or something. I guess it's the wire. Sorry about that, guys.
Screw loose, Peter.
Yeah, definitely got to screw loose. Did you see the report that I sent you from Albert Breer on the Devin White situation?
Yeah, go ahead and read that.
Yeah. You cannot believe this. Okay. There were murmurs that the Eagles could trade Devin White before the cutdown. Zach Vaughn and Nakobe Dean both were really good in camp. So fair or not, White missing the opener won't help his case for a big role in the defense.
Who's surprised by that?
Right.
Except the Devin White supporters here in Tampa Bay.
Correct.
Who have fallen away under the obvious.
It's crickets right now.
Yeah. As predicted here for 3 years, he's a terrible football player, and he wasn't going to do anything with the Eagles, and he got beat out, and that's why he got just like it happened here. You know, he suddenly got that injury when he was told he's not going to start the game. Get the hell out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that, but you know, it was the whole narrative was White has changed. He's going to be a productive player. He's going to be the missing piece of that defense. He's going to be great. The Bucs should have never let him go. And now he's already on the trade block. What does that say for the Bucs organization? They know what they're doing. Trust them.
Well, they held on to him a little too long, in my estimation. They should have traded him before that season.
Right.
Nathan Elliott says being consistent is one of the keys to building a great program in any sport. Once you find a coach or AD or GM to lead it, be patient. In terms of Mike Norvell, I'm being patient. In terms of Sunbelt Billy, he's losing. He's got to show something this year. It's just, but I wouldn't fire him one game into the season. That's just silly. That's not going to help your program. Let him try to figure out, you know, with the players that he's brought in some good players, and figure it out. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to chat with our good friend Corey Long, who writes for NHL.com, covers the Lightning, also covers the Bucs and all of college football for Walter Football. So we'll talk a lot of football with a man that knows a lot about recruiting in the state of Florida, and that's Corey Long. He's going to school me on why he saw this coming with FSU. So we'll do that when we come back with Corey Long. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source. It's not just for the ladies. Sure, you can go get something shiny for your lady. That's a great idea at the Golden Diamond Source, but there's stuff there for you as well, guys. How about a nice watch, a baller watch, a Rolex as an investment or to put on your wrist and show everybody how affluent you are and how successful you are right there. You can get some cufflinks, some shiny cufflinks, something that's kind of gone out of style that's back in style, cufflinks, a tie tack, necklaces, rings, all there. There's a whole section for you guys at the Gold and Diamond Source. So go check it out and get yourself something nice at 3800 Omerton Road and online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back at 3 with Corey Long. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at rogersparkgolf.net. That's rogersparkgolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this hump day as we are looking in the rear view mirror at week 1 of college football and week 0. And we're also looking ahead to week 1 of the NFL football season. So we bring in our good friend Corey Long, who covers all kinds of football, college, professional football, covers the NHL. Hello, Corey. How are you doing, my friend? We got him on? Hello,
yeah, we
Corey.
got him on. Hold on a sec, Karen. What's going on?
Oh, we have it. We have audio issues. Stand by. Stand by.
Corey, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Here we go. All right.
We got him.
What's up, partner? How are you?
What's going on? I'm good. How you doing?
Well, my college team is not doing so well. So I brought you on just to rub salt in the wound and tell me how bad it's going to be. I didn't think this was a 13-0 season, but I didn't see this coming. And as you've said for many interviews we've done, you live by the portal, you die by the portal. And Norvell had last 2 years. He hit it right on the money, better than anybody. And he's got a lot of whiffs in this portal class that I can see so far. And we'll start with DJU. Your thoughts?
Well, I think, can you hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, I think the big thing, and this is what I say when it comes to recruiting the portal, depending on how many kids you take. And under Norvell, they've taken, on average about 12 to 13 kids each year. They took 17 this year, which was a high number. They've taken as low as 10, and they generally stick in the middle between those two numbers. Is that 50% of the kids you take in the portal just aren't going to play. You just miss their evaluation. They get injured. Something happens and they're not going to play. So you pretty much wipe 50% of them out. And the other 50%, you have to hit on those guys. And if you hit on those guys, you're not worried about the 50% that don't play. You're worried about the 50% that do play because they're generally going to make your team a whole lot better. This is one of those times where they, the mean is correct. 50% weren't going to play, but the ones that are playing, DJU obviously not having a very good start to the season. You've got some other guys that are playing decently, like Jalen Lucas. I think Malik Benson gives you a good shot. And I think there's a couple other players. The defensive tackle I like, but the Alabama transfers, all 4 of them. I don't think any of them are going to really, outside of Benson, none of them are really going to pan out. The running back just seemed like he was just a guy at Alabama. He's just a guy.
He doesn't seem anything special to me.
Yeah, it just was kind of a waste of a pick. And it just felt like they were no longer going to the portal to find difference makers. They were going to the portal to find guys.
Starters, yeah.
And that comes from the fact that they didn't have anything waiting in the wings. They didn't have any foundational talent that they could go back to. And you do have to, and you might realize that the kids that you were bringing up, you might have a small drop off, but the question they never ask themselves is, what if these cast-offs that we grab can't play? Now what? Now where do we go? Who do we look to? There's no reason 5 years in that you've got tight ends that can't block for a coach that likes to run multiple tight end sets to get his running game going. Then his tight ends that can't block. None of them can block. Their best tight end is the true freshman. I think they give Kyle Morlock way too many snaps.
God, he's awful. He's terrible.
They think he's Travis Kelce, though. I mean, like, they really do.
Christ.
Well,
he's got 12 targets in one catch. And I would say of those 12 targets, 10 of them were catchable balls.
Yeah, I mean, he's horrible.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah, so they, and you got a ton of third-year and fourth-year offensive linemen that they've recruited that don't play. I think that is a total indictment on their offensive line coach, Alex Atkins, who has not developed these kids. They look fundamentally lost.
They do.
That's all on him. That's 100% on him. And this is the thing, the best thing that happens to you can be the worst thing that happens to you sometimes, because it's a level of complacency. You go 10-3, 13-1, and you don't make staff changes. And you don't start really examining where your program is failing at and what you're failing to do, because you brought it up so high. And and this is obviously, it starts at the top. Mike Norvell's not lying when he says this is his work, because it is, because he didn't examine these things well enough. And they didn't really, I don't think they took their high school recruiting as seriously as they did. I remember talking to you after the Georgia game, and I had said, if there's anything they can learn from that game, is what it was like to have real studs at high school recruiting waiting in the wings for you. Because 60, 70% of that game was backups on backups. And Georgia's backups smothered them. They whooped their ass.
Yeah.
Because they're much better players. And
I'm not going to argue that their depth is better than Florida State's. I'm not going to argue that. But that game was come on, bro. That game was meaningless. Come on, you got no quarterback. Come on. It's ridiculous. And those guys, those Georgia players, those depth Georgia players had played a hell of a lot more football. And by the time they got in the game, it was 45-3. Come on. Seriously. That game had no meaning whatsoever.
Like I said, 60, 70% of that game was backups on backups. Georgia took out their guys pretty early. I mean, they took them out before halftime. The back came in and smothered them. The back came in and smothered them. Like, it wasn't like the best. It wasn't.
So Georgia's recruiting high school recruiting's been better than Florida State's. No doubt.
Obviously, we're not
doubt.
Here. But the idea is you learn something from everything. If you learn something from everything, you make changes you can look at, like I said, instead of moping, which they were doing, which is why their offseason was so bad to begin with, instead of moping and renegotiating much higher salaries, which, hey, you know what? They earned them, but you got to go out there and perform.
Right.
No one cares. No one cares that you're upset. Like the world, the world moves on. And it's there, you have a job to do. And your job is to go out there and field the best team you can. And they didn't do that. That's across the board.
Corey, I think your point on the misevaluations is a very, very good one. And I think it starts at quarterback. And you know recruiting. And my question was, and you said this, is like DJU is just a guy. Why would you go get a placeholder, a 1-year bridge guy, when you got a 5-star in Luke Kromenhoek, who you just recruited, a 5-star quarterback, and a 4-star in Brock Glenn, who turned down Ohio State to come to Florida State? Why would you go get a DJU who is, by any measure, average at best, when you've got two guys that have way bigger upsides, and let those two guys fight it out, which they should be doing right now, and putting DJU to the side? Is just, you got a bad offensive line and an immobile quarterback. What are we doing? So do you think that was the biggest miscalculation by Mike Norvell?
Yeah, two of his flaws kind of got exposed with this DJU recruit situation, and these are things that he's carried with him that I'm not crazy about. Like at Memphis, his quarterbacks were Riley Ferguson. It was a JUCO transfer, and the other kid, Brady something or other, I can't think of his name. He was a graduate transfer from Arizona State. So in 4 years, he had a couple transfers. He comes in, he recruits, Tate Rodemaker. He has Blackman on the staff. He has Travis there, who was not getting a lot of time. They go with Blackman. Blackman loses. He brings in Rodemaker, who almost loses to Jackson, who just has a horrible start. Then goes with Travis, and Travis was, from that point on, was the guy. It wasn't necessarily his guy because he goes out and tries to get Mackenzie Milton the year after on one leg and probably started him a few games.
Yes.
And so there's just, and what I say by that is that if you look at every quarterback that he's brought in the system, right, at FSU, you had Rodemaker, Chubba Purdy, A.J. Duffy, those are all gone. Now Brock, now Luke, that's 5. I think 5 or 6 he's brought in. Between them in total, they've had 5 starts, and 4 of those were because of injury. The only one start they got was Rodemaker's first start against Jacksonville State, which everything else has been because of injury. So he's not. There's 2 things. And when I point out, there's 2 things. One, he just doesn't seem to like to play quarterbacks he recruits to give him a
right.
chance.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And two, he had the success that he's had at this level, at the higher level, is with a very mobile quarterback. And all he does is recruit non-mobile drop back quarterbacks. It's like, dude.
Well, Brock can run. Brock's a good runner. He can run.
Brock is mobile. Yeah, mobile. Yeah. I think Luke is kind of a statue. Brock is mobile in the sense that I think he can move around. But I'm with you. I would have absolutely messed with Brock for that offseason because of 2 reasons. One, I put him in 2 of the most unenviable situations you can. First game was a must-win. We got to win undefeated, so we got a chance at the playoffs. Did he play well? No, he survived. That was all he could really do. He was a true freshman making like his 3rd appearance. The second game was arguably against the best team in the country. Again, he made enough improvements between his first and second game to where I looked at him and said, hey, you know what? There's something there. More importantly, he faced a fire-breathing dragon in his second game. That kid's never going to be scared of anything else he faces in life.
It's a great point.
Nothing else he sees is going to be better than what he saw at the Orange Bowl. So I don't understand why you get a kid who mechanically is a bad quarterback. He's constantly gotten worse. And more importantly, you know that he needs a really good running game to be effective. Now, I know they thought they had a really good running game. I wasn't as excited about Roy Dell Williams as they were, but
and the offensive line. We were told 215 starts combined, and leads the nation. Well, there's a reason they're still in college because they can't play in the pros.
They can't play in the pros, and and you look at there was a lot of faith. I think they just put a lot of faith in a lot of areas that there were real question marks that they were not acknowledging. And I'm really sour on their all. I liked Alex Atkins. I thought he was really going to be one of the better coaches on that staff. And I'm really just sour at how poorly that offensive line, those linemen.
Well, he hasn't been there for the first 2 games, as you know, suspended for this ridiculousness. NCAA. How do you think that's? I mean, a lot of people are saying that's had a huge effect on this team. Maybe. What do you think?
I don't think so. These guys. Once they're in there, the guys that they're putting out there know how to. They've been out there plenty enough. So, like Maurice Smith getting false starts, that's not. Just not because Alex Atkins. He's just being. He's just making bad mistakes. Darius Washington. Getting just tossed all game.
Robert Scott
removed him. Somebody should have removed him.
Yes.
There's plenty.
Well, maybe Atkins would have done that. I don't know.
There's plenty of other coaches on that staff that say maybe this left tackle thing ain't working right now. There's
about 55,000 coaches in the stands that could have told him that, and another 3 million on TV.
Yeah. The good side is I think that Mike Norvell isn't. He's not going to sit here. I think he's smart enough to acknowledge that things are going to have to change. They can't change this exact minute, but I think he's smart enough to acknowledge they are going to have to change, and I think he better be willing to make some tough decisions, even ones that he particularly doesn't like, because the bottom line is you're getting paid $10 million a year, and that's you're one of the highest paid coaches in the league, and you better win. You're not being paid $10 million a year because people like you. They're being paid because you want to win. Like they'll not like you real fast. Ask Dabo Swinney how quickly that one goes to hate. Ask Bobby Bowden.
He's got to change the quarterback though. He can't. This off week, you got to go to Brock Glenn, or at least have a competition between him and Luke. I mean, you have to. Do you know?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't just sit here. 15 minutes into your second game and a bunch of fans chanting, "We want Brock." I mean, already his confidence is already shaken, and he's not that good to begin with.
Right.
And you're trying to justify paying him the money, but I look at it like this: if you bought a lemon of a car, you're not going to keep driving if you think the engine will blow up. You're just going to say, "Hey, I made a bad purchase," and you're going to move on.
Right.
So. Yeah, so I don't think they're going to stick with that quarterback. Again, I don't. There's other things that can't. They can't change their entire run defense. They can't.
No.
I think they've got one good linebacker in Blake Nicholson, and one passable one in Cam Riley. I worry about the mentality of some of the guys on the team now that the season. You hate to say the season is over. It's not over, but it's not going like it's really not as promising as it was 4 weeks ago. So,
well, you got to play the younger players and start building for the future, in my opinion, because you're not going to win with the older players. You're not.
Do you think they can turn this around? Do you think they can turn this around to a certain degree, or is it going to be, like you said, tough because of want to effort? Talent-wise, especially when it comes to the defense, I think that's probably the most surprising aspect of this team is how they just got manhandled the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think they can turn it around. Can they get to 7? Can they get to 8? Would probably be hard. 7 would probably be about the max. Can they do it? Sure, but they're going to need good. You need something good to happen to kind of fire up your group again to get them motivated again. There's just nothing. There's not a lot of good things happening from game to game right now. Like I don't think they played poorly against Georgia Tech per se, but it was a tricky game. It was the first game. It was new clock rules. There weren't a lot of plays. Tech Tech outplayed them. They played a better football game. They played a smarter football game. Boston College, they got outplayed. They really got worked. Bill O'Brien just looked his team looked so much more prepared, and there's not an excuse for that. So I think some guys have. You said that some guys have to do some soul searching, but I think as a staff, they also have to look and say, are we even playing the right guys? Are we putting the right guys out on the field? I just feel like it's a stew with a lot of bad parts in it, and they got to figure out what's making it not taste good and get rid of all of those things.
Yes. All right, let's get off Florida State and give me your thoughts on the Florida-Miami game. What did you learn from that game?
Miami was as good as I kind of figured they were. They're big, they're strong. I thought their secondary, I knew it was young, but I knew they had talent back there. And I knew they felt good enough about their front 7 that they were going to let those guys hang on an island. Now, you might not be able to do that every week, but I know you can do that with Florida because they got nothing. So you ain't worried about them. Like I wonder, and Billy Napier has about 150 quality control coaches on that. And do any of them have a clue of what their job is? Like, who's in charge of putting together a roster of players that can play?
I think that's Napier's job. I think that pretty much is his job.
Somebody's got to put together a roster of guys. I look at a group and I say, I don't know if these guys either they don't know what they're doing or they don't take it seriously. And my point for where I wonder how seriously they take this thing is big man in the center of their defense. And I remember a kid out of Armwood High School, perfectly, nice kid, solid football player. When he entered Florida, he was, whatever size was, 6'5", 430, how much you. And you look at that kid, and I've seen enough football. We've all seen enough football, enough development to say that, boy, they're going to turn that kid into a 350-pound monster if they know what they're doing.
Right.
Well, 3 years later, he's still 6'5", 430 pounds.
I thought he lost some weight. I thought he lost like 30 pounds. I guess he gained it back.
Yeah, I mean, he might have lost it on Saturday because they played him 40 snaps. But the point is, it's like, where's your strength program? Where's your nutrition? Where are these?
Well, he changed all that. He changed that in the off season.
He changed it.
Well, I don't know if Big Man got the memo, but they did change it.
Apparently, he didn't get the memo, and they still went out. They had to play him because they had nobody else, apparently. So,
well, Nicky Numbers came up with a number the other day, and he said that Florida is 5th in the nation in terms of 4- and 5-star players on the roster.
I don't know if they're recruiting the right guys, though. You can have guys. You can have a lot of 4, but are they recruiting the ones that can play? There's a lot of red chip kids that don't blue chip kids that you can miss out on, and I look at them and they don't have guys that can do anything on either side of the ball. They don't have the guys that can break tackles. And Montrell Johnson is fine. Jason Marshall on defense, I think, is a pretty good player. They don't have anything else. They have nothing to strike fear in a team. They have nothing. Their offensive line is still mediocre. Their defensive line is, it's very mid-level. They're not the worst team I've seen, but they're exactly what they are. They're a 4 or 5 win team, and maybe less with this schedule because they don't have. You need players if you're going to play a schedule like this. You need the guys that can really some difference makers, and they don't have any.
Well, did they stay with Lagway? You think he was getting first team snaps the other day?
Better. You better have something for people to rally around and want to see every week. Because you're going to draw 30,000 people if you throw that junk out that you threw out there on Saturday, because no one wants to see it.
Corey, do you think that Napier is in danger of getting fired before the season's over with at this point? Would they pull the plug this early?
I don't know about that because Ben Sass is taking so much money from that university. They don't have a president anymore.
Guys got to travel. Guys got to travel. Come on, bro.
Ben's got to travel, and everybody he pays has to stay home, apparently. So, I wish I could have got on that list of $700,000 remote jobs. Believe me, I'd have been the president of innovation and ideas, or whatever the hell they call them. So, yeah. So
I could have been 2 good defensive tackles right there. But
$700,000 would have bought him at least a linebacking core. My God. So, I don't think they want their current AD, Scott Strickland, to pick another coach, given how badly he's done in that area. So, I actually think, barring just going like losing this week and losing like his next 5 in a row, like starting 0-7 or something, like I think he'll be okay for the season.
Yeah.
I hope he's renting, because he's not going to be there as soon as December comes. He's not going to be there anymore.
Hey, before you go, I need a quick take on USF Alabama. The Bulls fans and their coach seem to be a little uppity this week. I hope they play well there, but your thoughts?
Keep it within 21. Don't get anybody hurt.
Absolutely. What do you think of the possibility of that happening?
I think they could not get anybody hurt. I think they can keep it probably between 20 and 30 points and not get anybody hurt.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. You don't want to get anybody hurt. You got games that you need to win down at that, in the final 2/3 of your season.
Agreed. All right, partner, always good to chat with you. We'll have you on anytime you want to come on. I always like chopping it up with you, my friend.
You'd be good, my friend. Have a good week.
All right. Still went 13-0 last year, by the way.
Yeah.
You keep talking about that Georgia game. Shut up.
Yeah, well, that Georgia game.
That thing didn't even happen.
Yeah, that didn't even
happen.
Nonsense. It was nonsense.
Heard Joe Tessitore talk about that. Ooh, Georgia had all their players. Dude, come on. A totally different deal. And I see a lot of people like, whoa, the culture all fractured. We got the snub, and now everybody left town, and the culture's crap at FSU. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 minute. But if they're played like it, that's for sure. We'll say that. All right, we'll take a break. JC Allen's going to join us, covers the Bucs for Sports Illustrated. So we'll talk with him next about this upcoming game with the Red Commanders. The Red Commander, the Red Dawns. Red Dawns. Hey, we're brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and Air Conditioning. If you're looking for somebody to come in there and take a look at your AC unit or plumbing, you have any issues at all, emergency situation, go to their website, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. They also do AC. And John Rodriguez, the owner over there, will make sure that you get a honest technician to come out there, do great work for you, give you a great price. They are not commissioned to sell high-price systems like many of these AC techs are. They don't do that at Third Generation. That's why they've been in business since 1995. Third Generation Plumbing and AC. Great folks over there. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3 with JC Allen. Stay with us. Who's growling? Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Gold and Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry. From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Gold and Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is two-time LPGA major champion Jayden Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, That's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. And yes, it's September now, and it's time to celebrate with the stunning birthstone of the month, which is sapphire, which is known for their natural beauty and glamorous allure. Sapphire's truth, sincerity, and faithfulness. Don't you love that? During their 40th anniversary, you can find a special selection of this precious gemstone, from stunning rings and necklaces to elegant earrings and bracelets. Steve Weintraub picks out every piece for its brilliance and quality. Been in the business 40 years, knows what he's doing. The expert staff will help you find that perfect gift, whether it's for a loved one, a special occasion, or just a treat for yourself. So visit the Gold and Diamond Source today, where you'll always find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. All right. Let's check in. We got JC Allen on the line.
Yeah, we got him on the line here. So
there's our diamond in the rough from the Golden Diamond Source. What's up, JC? How you doing, buddy?
Very good.
How you doing, guys? How we doing?
Doing great here. You're getting ready for Bucs versus, as Todd Bowles put it, Redskins, but they're now the command.
Sure, he got a letter for that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that.
I'm sure he sent it right back to him.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So what do you think this week? The biggest burning question for me is, will Yaya Diaby play on that high ankle sprain? You were out at practice today. I believe they've already been out there. What are you seeing? Is he moving around pretty good? What do you see?
Yeah, I think he's going to be good to go. It's one of those things where I don't expect him to have a heavy practice this week. More about kind of getting the installs in and kind of knowing what his role is going to be and all of that nature. I think he'll probably take it pretty light as far as on-field work goes, but everything's trending in the right direction for him to be able to go out there and play this week against the Commanders. So obviously, you would have liked to have him be out there throughout training camp and kind of continue to sharpen his toolbox. But I think, just you being out there as well with me, seeing the progression of him early on in training camp is enough to give you confidence that if he's able to go, which I think he will be when the pads come on Sunday afternoon, he's going to light it up.
I think Luke Gedeke was the happiest man when he saw Yaya go down, because he
Right.
was getting a face full of Yaya in the first few weeks. I say that in jest. Obviously, he doesn't want to see his teammate hurt. But my point is, I think this is the key to the whole game. The only way I think Washington and Jayden Daniels beats the Buccaneers is if he gets loose running the football and can make big plays with his feet, which we saw in college he could really, really do. Just go ask the Gators. He's still running against them. That, to me, is the key to the whole game, defensively especially. What are your thoughts on Jayden Daniels versus this Bucs defense?
Yeah, you got to contain him, obviously, but I feel at the same time, You know, he's a rookie quarterback. We saw the talent. He was the number 2 overall pick for a reason, but limited reps in the preseason. There's a lot of new moving parts with this new Commanders team, both on the offense and defensive side of the ball, as well as the coaching staff. So that takes time to gel.
Yeah.
And you can't, convince me that week 1 he's going to be firing on all cylinders and just be an absolute stud out there. So he's going to make some mistakes, and it's up to the Bucs to capitalize on those. This is something that they've been working and putting emphasis on all offseason, is making turnovers, getting after the quarterback. And, you have to obviously make sure you keep him in check. But, with the playmakers they have, especially in the secondary, and all of them are physical, tough tacklers. It's weird to say that about Zion, but he proved it last year. The interior pressure they're going to get up the middle is going to help force some things out. So they just have to be key in their assignments, make sure they're not trying to make the big hit stick tackles wrap and stick to their technique. And, will Jayden Daniels probably get some? Yeah, but is he going to run all over him? I don't think so. But it's something you got to keep in the back of your mind that, hey, this guy's got wheels and he can go at any time. But force him to be one-dimensional. I think the Bucs got a good shot at winning this game.
JC, you had some predictions out there, 10 bold predictions. The number 1 is Bucs will have a top 15 run game. Do you think that starts on Sunday versus, a measuring stick of a matchup, if you will, versus a Payne and, of course, a Jonathan Allen with the new interior line with Graham Barton being the center there, being the anchor of that?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a great matchup test for him, obviously, with Darren Payne and Jonathan Allen up the middle. But, when you look at kind of the other areas of this team, linebackers are kind of, Bobby Wagner's there and Frankie Lubo's there. And, the outside edge rushers, they leave a little bit more to desire with Dorrance Armstrong, Clellan Ferrell, and Dante Fowler. I think there's opportunities to break some big outside runs, but it's going to be, I think, a different mindset than it was last year. Canales was hammering those first down runs, and I think you'll see some of that as well. Obviously, you want to get those efficient chunks, but it's not preseason anymore. These guys are gearing up, ready to go, and it's certainly going to create some tough challenges. Do I think they're going to go off against this defense with some rangy linebackers who are strong in run support and a tough defensive line up the middle? No, but I can definitely see them peeling off some good sized runs and probably finish, team wise at around 100 yards on the ground.
Wow.
Somewhere between 80, 100 yards on the ground, somewhere around there. If they stick to their game plan and what they're trying to accomplish.
All right, give me a prediction on how many touches will Bucky Irving and Jalen McMillan get, respectively.
It's easier to give you one on Bucky Irving because I think there'll be design touches for him in the game. I'll go with 7 carries. The passing game, we'll see. Maybe he gets sprinkled in 3, in there. Maybe he comes down with a catch or 2. With McMillan, it's all based on, is he open? Now there'll be design passes to go if he'll be the first read on. But, I can see McMillan putting up a stat line of somewhere around 4 catches, for 47 yards, something like that. Maybe a first down involved in there. I don't think he's going to have a breakout game by any means. But, it is also a young secondary back there. They've got Jeremy Chin at safety, who they picked up from the Panthers. But other than that, it's Quan Martin, who they drafted last year, who's moving from nickel back to safety. It's Mike Sanistril, their rookie second-round pick, who's going to play nickel corner. Benjamin St. Just is in his 3rd year. And it's Emmanuel Forbes, who's in his 2nd year. So there's opportunities for the Bucs to take advantage of that young secondary and kind of push the ball down the field. I think that will be more the game plan than running the ball, but they're going to want to have chemistry and marry those 2 things up, because they can run so many different things out once you get that threat of a rushing attack. And they're going to want to, they're not going to want to be one-sided on either just passing the ball. So, but there's plenty of opportunities for them to make plays, and I expect them to do so.
With Godwin being put back in the slot, do you expect him not only to have a big game on Sunday, but throughout the season? And you're very high on Cade Otton. Go ahead and explain why people should be watching Cade Otton this year in that tight end room for the Bucs.
Yeah, I think Godwin's going to feast. I think if you look at who's probably going to be the most the most productive receiver this weekend. I think it's going to be Chris Godwin going up against rookie, corner Mike Sanistril. I think he's got an amazing matchup this week, and one that he could really kind of exploit and take advantage of if Baker can find him early and often. As I mentioned, I think he goes over 100 catches, 1,000 yards this season. Probably see an uptick in his touchdowns, maybe around like 5 or 6, compared to, I think he only had 1 last year and was on an end around, if I'm not mistaken. So I think you see a production jump from him. And K-Don's been knocking on that door for the last couple of years. Last year he finished, 3 receptions shy, about 66 yards, I believe, shy, and hit that 1 touchdown shy of what I predicted him at, over 5,505. And I think it's, the chemistry that he's built with Baker, just kind of getting bigger every season, kind of understanding his blocking assignments and being able to be useful that way. And having a little bit of a break too, if Payne Durham can emerge to give him some relief. Will definitely keep him fresher during games, which will allow him to kind of create that separation a little bit more when he's called for. And I just think he's poised for not necessarily a breakout season and become one of the top tight ends in the league, but certainly vault himself into that upper 15 to 20 category, where he probably was in the latter end of the league last year. Just kind of an average guy, more along the lines of like a Noah Fant, and Cole Kmet type player. Not someone that you're in fantasy terms going to target, or not someone that's going to kind of.
Yeah, I drafted him.
Well, you have
my backup tight end.
You have him for 50 receptions, 500 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So that's pretty strong. If you're getting that from your tight end room. With that being said, you also talked about the defense. And again, this is JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. Go and check out his work here. 10 bold predictions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2024. Over 50 sacks for this Bucs defense. And then on top of that, Yaya Diaby with over 12. Expound on that a little bit.
Yeah, I just think Yaya coming into year 2, we saw him get 7.5. He left a couple on the table last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just kind of playing by the edge of his pants. He understands this defense now. He's worked on, his pliability. He's worked on getting stronger, if you can believe that. He was already one of the faster edge rushers that came out of the draft last year. I think things are going to start to click for him, where he's playing the mental aspects of the game and that allows him to play free instead of having to think about, okay, what am I supposed to do on this assignment? And Bowles is going to put him in opportunities to succeed. If he does play, he's going up against rookie left tackle Brandon Coleman, who missed part of training camp with a torn pec and had limited preseason snaps. So I think that bodes well for his ability to produce this week, as soon as this week, and maybe get on that sack board. And in the 50 sacks, I think, Vita Vea, Elijah Cansey, they had around, I think it was 9.5 last year. There's no doubt in my mind that number expands for both of those players. I can see both of them notching 7 sacks and getting up to that 14 level. And if you've got Diaby hitting 12 and them hitting 14, you're already at 27. And Bowles is going to bring the pressure. We know he's going to bring it from all different areas. It's one of the things that makes his defense so hard to go against, is because he'll send them from corners, he'll send it from linebackers, he'll put Vita Vea as a stand-up linebacker and send them, and he'll send them certainly from the safeties. Look at Antoine Winfield's projection, I think 5 more sacks, and he jumps into the top 5 DBs all time in sack totals. So he's continuing to climb that ladder as well, and Bowles will bring that pressure. And I think they can get another 23 sacks out of the other players that they'll have on defense there.
All right, I got some props for this game. You did pretty well on your props last year, as I recall, as did I, with Bucs props. So let's do some props for this game. K. Dotton over 27, over 27.5 yards receiving. I'm going over.
The over.
Yeah. Based on the targets he got in preseason in this new offense, I think he's gonna get a few more targets. Rachaad White over under 20 receiving yards, 20.5 receiving yards in this game.
I'll take the over on that as well, because I think if the run game does struggle, they'll use him in that screen game where he's been so efficient, especially at making defenders miss. So if they do struggle to use that, that's where you have those wide receiver screens, dump offs to the running back in the flat, and that really kind of is an extension of your running game. So I think I'm taking the over on that too.
All right. Rushing yards over under Rachaad White 58.5.
I think he goes over that.
Yeah.
Deshaun's coming out with something to prove. I really think
I
that
agree.
he's in line for a really good season. I think he kisses 1,100 yards, gets really close to that. Definitely over 1,000 for sure. I think he's going to be running into better situations. Baker with the ability to call those cans at the line, to put them in better opportunities. I think the vertical and horizontal push, opening up cutback lanes, is going to help him. And again, I recognize that this is a really strong team against the run with Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, and the guys up front. But I think they'll find ways to get him the ball. And I think, if it was 60 yards, I might balk at it. But 58 yards, I think he goes over that.
By the way, Jayden Daniels over and under is 39 and a half rushing yards in this game. I'd go over that.
I think I'd take the over 38 and a half.
Yeah, 38 and a half. I think he's going to look to run a little bit, in his first game.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Let me see.
He's going to look to ditch it and go.
Yeah, I agree. There's a couple other years. Well, defensively for the Buccaneers, Austin Eckler 24 and a half. I might go over that. For his and first touchdown scorers, Rachaad White and Mike Evans, both at plus 650. Who scores the first touchdown for the Buccaneers this year?
Oof.
I might go off the board and go Cade Otton.
I think I might go Mike Evans.
Evans plus 650. That's a nice number.
He's lined up against Benjamin St. Juice. And I think that's one of the biggest keys to the game is you got to start off fast. That first possession, you got to score. And there's a situation where I can see them taking a shot early on to Evans and just kind of test out that secondary. Let them know, hey, we're not afraid to air it out. You've got to defend this. We know you've got a young secondary, which will open up some things in the running game for them as well. And maybe Mike comes down with it, and maybe that's how they get on the board first.
I'm going to go with White on this. I think it's going to be just a boring 1-yard plunge or a 2-3 yard, something along those lines where it's a long drive. I think it's White.
Yeah, I agree. All right, JC, anything else you see in this game? The Bucs are 3.5 point favorites in this one. I think they'll cover either one of those numbers.
I'm smashing the over on that. I think they win this game by 10 points.
By 10. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm sitting at, I think, 27-17 right now. Offenses traditionally come out slower. But I just think, with all the moving parts in the Commanders, it's going to take time to gel. New quarterback, new offensive coordinator, new offensive line pieces, completely revamped defense. It's going to take some time. And I think they're going to be able to take advantage of that in week one with the continuity that they have. So, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with 27-17. Bucs take it by 10.
And one of your main predictions is you have the Bucs going to the NFC Championship game.
Yes, finishing 11-6, going to the NFC Championship game. It's a rough start. Finish 5-5 at the bye. Their big signature wins over the Eagles and the Devin Whiteless Eagles, I should say, and the San Francisco 49ers. And then they're pretty much perfect on the after the bye with their only loss coming from to Dallas Cowboys. I think they kind of take that time, rest, recoup, kind of figure out what they need to do in order to make a push. And they were blessed with I feel like it's an easy schedule, at least on paper, to end out the season. So,
all right, JC, good stuff, my friend. How do people get your content?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can follow me on X at JC Allen NFL, one-stop shop for all things Bucs there. All of our content over at SI Bucs Game Day. I'm currently working on my weekly pieces, through the spyglass, kind of scouting the opponent, looking at the top players on offense and defense, and then my keys to cannon fire, my keys to victory. So those will be out weekly, along with my extra point that will come out the day after the game, kind of with my takeaways from the game. Pirate Parlay podcast, we're live tonight at 7 o'clock. I'm going to go over my bowl predictions, my team superlatives, and my season-long predictions. So all that, and then we'll have another episode because we're back to 2 episodes previewing the Washington Commanders with David Harrison, who covers it for our CG for Sports Illustrated.
Nice. All right, JC, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's win some money this weekend. Thanks for your predictions.
Let's do it.
All right. I love the prop bets. I'm gonna go so hard on prop bets this year. My prop bets, especially for Bucs, I was up 75%, 80%. And then, my other picks in terms of games were terrible. I mean, that's right. If I just stick with my props and not try to predict the games, I'll be in much better position financially this year. So that's my new strategy. More props, less game bets.
Less game bets. All right. We got Harry the Greek here chiming in because he's watching right now. He'll join us next week, hopefully. He says, I love the Philadelphia Eagles -2.5 at home against the Green Bay Packers. He says he also likes the New York Giants getting 1.5 or 2 points against the Minnesota Vikings. Not one over-under total is less than 40 points this week. Is that because of the slow?
Didn't the unders just crush last year in the beginning of the season?
Yeah. And I firmly believe it's because of the kickoff rules. He says the kickoff rules, I say also the lack of playing time when it comes to preseason football, that takes a toll. And
I agree. That's why I pound the unders. Yeah,
pound the unders. And I want to go back to these predictions. I know we could take a break, but we got 5 minutes to go until. So let's go.
Let's hit that break and we'll come back. We'll go over a little bit here today. I want to hit that last break. Okay. I also want to get to some of the comments here from our great fans out there. Nathan Elliott asked Devin White a question. I want to hear that story. Sorry, quick break. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Brought to you by Extravaganza Productions. If you have an event coming up, a charity event, big birthday party, a company event, and you need the pros to help you out, it's Extravaganza Productions. Go to their website, extravaganzaproductions.com. Get a free creative meeting with them. If you mention the JP Peterson Show, extravaganzaproductions.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Hey, if you love golf and the new Top Tracer virtual golf experiences that have taken the golf world by storm, well, you're going to love the new Top Tracer range at Rogers Park in Tampa. It combines the fun of competing virtually on the world's greatest courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with an outdoor range experience to track your ball, not just hitting it to that net. I love it. They have great brand new spacious covered bays, huge fans blowing down. It's very enjoyable even when it's hot. So grab your golf buddies. Great price, $25 an hour up to $45 at peak times. Balls are included, and you can also play the new short course for just $9. It's all at rogersparkgolf.net. To reserve a bay, go to rogersparkgolf.net. I'll see you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we hang out here with Peter Blake, and we're checking out some of these great comments that came in.
Yes. And Alexander decided to join us too, by the way.
Who's that?
Alexander, my dog. You decided.
Hey, what's up, Alexander?
Look at him. Look at him.
Christopher, Nathan Elliott says, I don't know if it's Christopher Kohler. I think Nathan did. So I caught hell for giving White hell the last couple of years. White rolled his eyes at me when I asked him about his film study during the Buccaneer autograph session last year. Did you really?
White really rolled his eyes.
Some tape this year, or you're just going to go out there and run past people again?
He's running nowhere. He's not even traveling with the team at this point. Hell of a move by Philadelphia.
Leave him home for Brazil. Yeah,
money well spent. By the way, great job. Yeah.
Christopher Cole said, "Yeah, he always badmouths fans and other people because we all are not in the locker room with the team or in the NFL. To me, White is typical LSU flash dash burnout player." Yep. Nathan also says Rachaad White's going to get 103 yards rushing this week, so he's definitely going over. Okay. By the way, we're invited to Nathan's tailgate party, lot 12, prior to the game. Gates open at 9:30. You're going to be there at 9:30 for a 4:30 game, bro?
I don't think so. I love you, Nathan, but we will be out. I don't know if you're going to be joining me or not, but at the What the Buck tailgate there right across the street. We'll be on air about 1:30, 2 o'clock as my dog is in the window right there. Hopefully he doesn't.
I'll try to stop by both of those.
Yeah, we'll be there. And then, of course, post-game edition of the Sports Web in collaboration with this show right here, the JP Peterson Show.
Let's go.
Taking calls. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Still got that Tom Brady right there. So there you go.
We got overcast skies this weekend. Boy, that's great for a 4:30 game. I like that. Good for the fans.
Hopefully no delays. And
God, no.
Yeah, I want to go back to these bold predictions. I know we got to get out of here. You told me to bring content today, so I did.
That's JC's content. That's not your content.
That's pretty good content there, Pretty good.
It is good content, but it's not. I want your original content, not his.
My content is, who's the MVP of this team coming into 2024, do you think? Who is the MVP? Is it Baker?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Content right there. There you go.
I'll go. I think Rachaad White's going to have a monster season.
Yeah.
I think Rachaad White's going to have a 60. I think he said 1,500. He almost said 1,500 last year, which I predicted.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a monster, but it's not going to be 3 yards a carry. It's going to be 4.5 yards a carry, which is going to make him a lot more. I'll say either him or Chris Godwin. I think Godwin's going to have a monster season too.
You stole my thunder because I definitely think Godwin being back in the slot and being somewhat, when he was the focal point of this offense was different. So I like Godwin there. Another bold prediction from JC. I wanted to get your thoughts on this with the strength of the running game and now the improved offensive line as we think. Baker Mayfield over 30 touchdowns, under 30 touchdowns, over 30 touchdowns.
Ooh, 30's a lot. 30's a lot. Yeah, 28 last year. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over 30. Over 30. Yeah.
I will too, with the addition of not only having Godwin back in the slot, but you also add Jalen McMillan and also Trey Palmer as that speed component. I feel like he's gotten better. He'll get better in his second year. And then going back to this, Yaya Diaby, over under 12 sacks this year.
12 is a lot. I'm going to go under that. I got to go under that.
Okay. And then the Bucs defense, 50 sacks. Can they finish over or under 50 sacks this year with the way Todd Bowles can generate pressure, with some of the new guys there with Jose Ramirez and
I'm gonna go 50's a lot. 50. But I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over 50. Yeah.
I'm gonna go over too. Okay. So there you go.
All right.
Yeah. So
and I got the Bucs. I got the Bucs at 10 wins. So we'll do some more prop bets as we get closer to Friday. Friday will be a big gambling day with us. So we'll do more prop bets. I'm gonna go through all of them for all the Bucs players and I'm gonna give you 8 to 10. That's where I'm gonna spend most of my time this year is breaking that down. And it's hard week one because Liam Cohen's offense obviously is going to be different than Dave Canales, but we'll give it a shot anyway. We'll get better as the season goes on as we kind of feel out what's going on with his allergy attack here. Better get out.
You. One more question: best rookie out of this Bucs team, out of this crop,
Jayden McMillan. Well, I mean, it's going to be hard. I think Graham Barton's going to be the best player, but I think, in terms of it's hard to quantify a center, but I'll say Jalen McMillan will be the biggest in terms of stat impact. Jalen McMillan.
Bucky Irving and no Tyke.
I love Bucky. I think Bucky's going to have a great year, but I think Jalen's going to get a lot more targets.
All right. Good stuff.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Peter. Great job to you, my friend. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join my new Twitter at the JP Peterson Show. Also like and subscribe on our YouTube page. We need to get some more subscribers there. Please do. If you like what we're doing, you can also go to our link tree and hit us up and give us a nice donation. We'll take that and support the program. We always appreciate you guys in that realm as well. Just hit the link tree on the Twitter header there. Have a great day, everybody. Go Bucs. Go Rays. We'll see you tomorrow.